In a remote village hidden between jagged mountains lived a young man named Sami, with nothing but big dreams. His only companion was Sultan, a legendary Arabian horse, white as snow, with eyes that sparkled like diamonds. Sami's heart belonged to Layla, the village chief's daughter, who was the only light in his humble life. But poverty was a cruel wall, preventing Sami from ever asking for her hand in marriage. One day, a wealthy and corrupt landlord arrived in a golden carriage, casting a dark shadow over the village. The tyrant began seizing the farmers' lands, including the small plot Sami's family had owned for generations. Not satisfied with land, the landlord demanded to marry Layla to settle her father's growing debts. Sami stood his ground and confronted the tyrant in the middle of the village square. A violent struggle broke out as the landlord's guards swarmed Sami, trying to break his spirit. Suddenly, Sultan charged in, protecting Sami with a powerful kick that sent the guards flying. Under a heavy downpour of rain, Sami was forced to flee on Sultan's back, looking back at his home with a broken heart. Layla cried out into the storm, "I will wait for you, Sami. Do not be late." Sami and Sultan embarked on a brutal journey through dark, haunted forests and deep, treacherous valleys. They faced bandits on narrow mountain passes, where Sami had to fight for his life atop his loyal horse. Sultan understood Sami's every command. They moved as one, dodging arrows with lightning speed. After days of hunger and exhaustion, they reached the Golden City, where skyscrapers touched the clouds. Sami started working at the docks, carrying heavy loads by day and sleeping in a cold stable with Sultan by night. One winter, Sultan fell gravely ill from the cold, and Sami knelt by his side, praying for a miracle. Sami sold his only coat in the market to buy medicine for his horse, shivering in the cold to keep Sultan warm. As he nursed Sultan back to health, the spiritual bond between man and horse became unbreakable. An old, wise horse merchant watched them, amazed by Sultan's beauty and Sami's unwavering loyalty. The merchant said, "There is a royal race. The winner wins his weight in gold and a title of nobility." Sami decided to enter, starting grueling training sessions at dawn across the city's high hills. Other noble riders mocked Sami's ragged clothes and his simple, worn-out saddle. "What is this peasant and his skinny horse doing here?" The elite knights laughed. The day of the great race arrived, with thousands of spectators filling the massive ancient stadium. The signal fired, and the horses took off like a desert storm, with Sami lost in the middle of the dust. The noble riders used dirty tactics, trying to shove Sami's horse off the dangerous track. Halfway through, Sultan stumbled, but Sami leaned in and whispered, "For Layla, my friend, let's fly." Suddenly, Sultan ignited with a speed no one had ever seen, his hooves barely touching the ground. Sami began passing the champions one by one as the crowd began to roar for the mysterious white horse. At the final turn, Sultan made a legendary leap over a massive water obstacle that others feared to cross. They crossed the finish line first by a mile, and Sami was crowned the champion of the Golden City. With the massive prize money, Sami began investing in international trade, proving his sharp mind. Years passed, and Sami became a powerful tycoon whose name shook the markets, owning palaces and fleets. But his heart never left that small village, nor the promise he made to the girl he loved. Sami prepared a grand caravan and returned to his village, riding Sultan, who now wore a ruby-encrusted saddle. He arrived at the exact moment the tyrant was dragging Layla to the altar for a forced marriage. Sami stepped off his horse and faced the landlord with cold confidence. "I have returned to take back what is mine." Sami paid off everyone's debts, banished the tyrant, and married Layla in a legendary wedding that the village would never forget.